This episode of the Irish Dance Podcast is being brought to you by Dunleavy Boyle Bremer Academy, inviting you to the New England Autumn Feis and Grade Exams, September 22nd and 23rd in Boston. This two-day event features grade exams up to grade 12, music competitions, an Irish soda bread bake-off, a second chance prelim competition, a charity dance-off with proceeds to benefit the Fighting Sullivans, a charity dedicated to Claire Sullivan TCRG's battle with cancer, and of course a North American Feis Commission approved championship. This is the 8th annual Feis, featuring a diverse panel of adjudicators, renowned musicians and competitors from all over the Irish dancing world. Dunleavy Boyle Bremer Academy looks forward to seeing you in beautiful New England this September. For more information, please go to southshoreIrishdance.com. My name is Martin Percival, and you are listening to the Irish Dance Podcast. Folk dance to phenomenon and beyond. Hi everyone, I'd like to introduce today's guest. He's a dancer, teacher and performer, and in my opinion, one of the most exciting choreographers on the Irish dance scene at the moment. Please welcome Andy O'Reilly.
Hello. Thanks, Martin.
How's it going?
Good, thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule with Riverdance to chat with me today. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Let's start at the beginning. How did you get involved in Irish dance?
I guess I kind of have like the age-old story of seeing Riverdance when I was young and becoming obsessed with it. My dad flew the whole family over to Dublin when it first started in the Point, and I remember just being in the audience, and I think I was like 8, and I just remember being obsessed with it straight away.
That's good.
And I don't actually remember this, but my mum always says for the next year and a half, I like begged her every single day to take classes. And she said it was like consistently every day for the whole year. So she finally gave in.
You wore her down. That's brilliant.
It worked. Yeah, because the nearest dance class was like a 40-minute drive away. So they initially didn't want to, take that time. But after the 12 months of me pressuring them, it worked. So yeah, I just really became obsessed with it, and I was lucky enough that I had like a feel for it straight away from the first class. I remember like I learnt my whole reel in the first class, and then from then on I was just like, this is what I want to do.
Oh, that's brilliant. I like hearing those stories. So who was your teacher?
I danced with Sean Eireann McMahon, so it's Rose Ellis and Gordon McMahon.
Yeah, it
was like definitely back in the day, it was like such a massive school. I was really lucky that it was so close to my house, and I was also lucky that we had like so many guys in the class.
Yes, yeah.
I didn't realize how lucky I was. Like there was literally maybe like 15 of us, and we were all like pretty much up there with standards. So we all like worked off of each other and competed against each other. So it was great to have.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. There was only me in my class.
Yeah. I didn't appreciate it at the time, though.
So, how was competition for you then?
Competition, I went through phases. Like initially, I absolutely loved it, and I did really well. I like won like a few competitions throughout the circuit, and then I went through a phase where I just started to like become a little bit downhearted about it all. And I don't know what it was. I think maybe it was just so many years of doing the same thing that I remember going to my teacher being like, I really don't want to do the All Islands. And it wasn't because of a result. Like I was getting in the top 5 like consistently, but I just remember the passion kind of left. And then she was like, okay, you don't have to do it, but will you just come to the competition and just watch it at least? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. And then it was a very clever way of doing things, because like literally as soon as I watched it, I was like, oh my god, why am I not doing it? And it was like instantaneous back to the passion again. And then I did the Worlds, and I got a second that year. So it was very clever of her and exactly what I needed.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Sometimes our Irish dance teachers know us better than we know ourselves, which is amazing. So fast forward then, so you did all the competition scene, very successful. So when did you decide, or how did you get involved in the professional side?
So I was 17. No, I was 18. I just finished my A-levels in England, and I was taking a year off before university just to keep competing. And then my best friend, Daniel Triggle, he got into Gale Force. And I remember being like so happy for him, but at the same time raging I wasn't doing it. Right, that's it, I'm going to a show. So I started applying to all the different shows, and I was working in a shoe shop, a discount shoe shop at the time. And I got a call at 9 a.m, and I just arrived into work, and I got a call from Celtic Tiger, the company, and they were like, "We're having auditions today, starting at 12. And I literally just walked out of my job, and then I got to walk out of her job, and she drove me down to London, and I auditioned, and I got in. So that was kind of the start of it for me. So I did Celtic Tiger for 3 months, and then I waited a little bit of time for it to come back, and then that was when Michael Flatley got sick. So it was kind of like a natural time to move on then. So I then went to Magic of the Dance, and it just kind of spiraled from that.
Yeah, because you've done a lot, right? You've done a lot of different shows.
Yeah, I've done quite a lot of the shows, I guess. Lord, Riverdance, Magic of the Dance, Gale Force, Celtic Tiger, Heartbeat Home, Footstorm, Prodijig. So I've been around the...
You have been around the block, yeah, definitely. But that's great. I mean, it's just a testament to your versatility as a dancer. So, from all of that, you must have worked with some amazing people, right?
Oh, yeah. Like, being in the show world has literally turned me into a completely different dancer. I actually think if I had gone back to competition after being a few years in the shows, I would have done even better.
Yeah.
Because I was learning off of, like, the best people in the world. And, like, learning how to move my body in different ways and how to perform better. It's just been an insane experience, really. And it's actually developed my own style, because even though I've learned off everyone, I kind of know who I am as a dancer now.
I love that. That's absolutely amazing. I think that, I talk a lot on the podcast with people about collaboration and how I think it's vital for us as dancers to learn from a lot of different people. And it sounds like you've had that experience. So what is it that you, I've seen some of your choreography and it's absolutely amazing. I'm really impressed. Like I said at the beginning, I do think you're one of the most exciting choreographers. But what I find interesting is that, just where we're evolving as an art form. So do you want to speak to a little bit about your choreography and where you see your career going and where you see the Irish dance world going?
Yeah, I think it's actually going in a really interesting direction at the minute, because I feel like for the first time there's no boundaries almost. Like there is so much like fusion of different dance styles of Irish dance, and it's kind of going everywhere, and I love it. There's just different people are doing different projects and like totally different aspects of dance, and I'm obsessed with it all. I want it all. So yeah, I think for the competition world, it's got insane. Like it's so amazing what these kids are doing. Like the standard. Like if I had gone to competition now, and if I went up there on stage now, I would literally get last. Like yeah. So I think competition's going in the right direction, and I think the show was going in a very interesting direction, like new directions, which I think it's time for.
So speaking then to your own choreography and your own journey as a dancer, then let's talk about that first. And so you're talking about moving your body in different ways. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah. So I guess where I first really noticed, even though I was learning all the time, where I really noticed that my body was starting to move in different ways was I was in the group Prodijig when we did a TV show called Got to Dance, and there were 7 of us, and we lived in Belfast for, I think it was 18 months, and we were rehearsing like 6 days a week for that. Wow.
Yeah.
And it was a total new style. Obviously, Alan Kennefick is the leader of Prodijig, and he was teaching us his new style, and my body was just kind of adapting to it, and it was almost awakening my body in a way that I'd never felt before. And I really grasped that. And then once I moved to Heartbeat of Home and I was working with all these different choreographers and all these international dancers, the Latin dancers and the contemporary dancers, it was building on that again. So now I feel like I've really been able to learn and blend Irish dance to my own kind of style-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, what I find interesting about that part of your journey is that you were training for a long time. I think it's important especially for the listeners and especially for other dancers who are listening to the show, is that it's not, as Irish dancers, we're just kind of what's the word? Like assuming or just taking other dance forms on board. Like you're actually training and changing your style, so you're learning properly how to do a lot of other things. I just think sometimes some people think that show dancers, we're Irish dancers who just then start using our arms, and it's all a bit strange. Do you know what I mean? So how would you describe Prodijig and Alan Kennefic's style?
I think it's just like it's his own brand new style, and I love his style. I think it's amazing. It's just something completely different, and I think anyone who gets the opportunity should learn that style because it is so unique. It's a lot of opposing arms to opposing legs, so it's a lot of hand-eye coordination and hand-leg coordination.
Yes, that's what I find interesting about it, is because naturally, it's not. I wouldn't say it's not graceful style like a ballet style would be, but it's definitely opposing arms and legs, and it does work. It works extremely well, and it's visually stunning when I watch it. So but it is very, very different from how we're taught.
Yeah, and especially when we did the show, what everyone loved was that it was so new, but it also really held the elements of Irish dance at the same time. It didn't completely go away from it.
Yeah.
Which I just remember that was the feedback when we were competing in that show, that they loved that it was new, but not so new that it was no longer Irish dance. Yeah,
exactly. But with the arm movements, everything, it's all. It's very frenetic, it's very energetic, and it's really exciting. I'm not sure it's something that I could pick up as an old man, but
I'm sure you can.
No, but I do find it really, really interesting, and it's just, I think what I would like to see in Irish dance is that we continue our tradition of, as Irish people, of storytelling, and I just think if we can, if we've got plenty of stories to tell, and if we can tell it through Irish dance, all these different new kind of fusions or offshoots of Irish dance, if you want to call it that, can really tell a story differently. So I just think it's amazing. I think the more we're experimenting, the more people come up with new ideas, the better. So how, in terms of your choreography, where is your career going?
I just want to try everything I can. I've been choreographing for a while, but I still want to learn more. I don't think I'm fully ready yet to fully commit to one exact approach. I want to learn off of more people. I love the stuff I do, but I want it to get even better again.
Yeah, that's great.
I just want to keep learning and keep doing everything I can when it comes to choreography. So I'm just going to try and keep taking opportunities when they come.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, you're still with Riverdance for a little while longer, right? What's after that?
Yeah, Riverdance for a little bit, and then Heartbeat of Home is coming back out in October. So I'm going to be involved in that. And then I really want to get involved in the other side of, not just the dancing, the other side of theatre as well, being out front, production management, lighting, sound. I am so obsessed with theatre in general.
Yeah.
That, the big dream is to be a director on Broadway. Do you know what I mean? That would be ultimate dream. So anything I can do really to work towards that goal, I'm going to do it.
That's fantastic, and I have no doubt you will make it. No doubt, you're very talented. Are you and you're teaching at the moment as well, right?
Yeah, so I teach with my best friend Dan. We teach in Raleigh, North Carolina, So I did like completely full time for about 2 years, and then at the minute I'm back and forth with the other commitments I have. But every time I have a second off, I'm literally back in the dance class helping the guys out. And yeah, the school's like doing so well now. I'm really happy with where it's at. Yeah, so it's nice to be involved in, you know, the two aspects, the competitive side and the show side. So just going to keep that going as long as I can. Yeah.
Do you think being involved in the show side helps with the competitive side?
Definitely with performance. That's one thing I've noticed, that with the people I teach in rally, I really notice that their performance is really, really good, actually. And I didn't realize I was teaching performance, but apparently I was. And I feel that's something really important in Irish dance, especially competition. I think there is maybe a risk of it looking a bit robotic sometimes, like as if they're doing the dance moves just for the sake of making sure it's crossed and turned out and arms are in, where it is still a dance. Do you know what I mean? As long as it's still a dance, that you're performing it as having the correct technique, then that's like the ultimate dance aspiration for me.
Yeah, it is interesting to me because I think always we've had dancers who have been technically brilliant, but you also have dancers who are very, what I would have called back in my day, very stylish. And, you know, so of course they would have a decent technique and everything, but there was just they bring something else to the table. I think that in any performance that always has to be there. Yeah. So, yeah, it is interesting.
So the people on the top of the podium now have got loads of style.
Yes. Of course, yeah.
Yeah, everyone is aspiring to that rather than a robotic type of dance.
Yeah, I feel like it goes in cycles, you know, so that, it is interesting. But what I find fascinating about the competitive world at the moment is that the area of technique is becoming so sharp, you know, just like everything is honed. Like the skills of the top level dancers are just amazing. You know,
there's no error really anymore. Like that's what I always say. If your kicks aren't to your face, and if you're not pointing your toes, and if your feet aren't turned out at every single second of the dance, you're
no chance
anymore. It's insane. It's so hard.
Yeah, and it is. And there's, I mean, more and more teachers, more and more dancers. You know, so it's only going to get harder, I think. Yeah,
and I love that. It's got to go in that direction.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. But how do you feel about like the size of the competition and that kind of thing? What are your thoughts at the moment?
Yeah, I think that's a really hard one because there's so many competitors, and it's hard. It's hard to reward everyone, and it's hard not to make people feel left out. It's just, but on the other edge of things, if you give too many awards out, then it's not really a competition.
Right.
I'm not really sure how to go around it. It'll be interesting at the Worlds this year with the 2-day event and how that works.
Yeah, adding that heat. I think whatever we can do to, you know, we need to keep progressing the art form and everything. But the competition scene itself is fierce.
Definitely.
So that's, you know, I wouldn't want to be I wouldn't want to be teaching it now. It was hard enough when I was teaching there, you know, but I did enjoy it. It was rewarding, definitely rewarding, especially because I saw a post on Facebook today about the skills that we learn as dancers, whether or not we turn it into, whether or not we go into a dance career after our competitive days, we still take all of those skills into the world with us. And, you know, for the most part, I think Irish dancers are trained and can handle situations very well. What do you think?
I literally could not agree more with that. I think Irish dance is obviously about the dance and about competing and about then hopefully going into the professional world, but more so it teaches discipline, teamwork, how to struggle through when you're let down, when you're disappointed, and how you have to get back up out of that and keep pushing on. And I think those are life lessons that kind of you wouldn't learn unless you're a dancer. I definitely wouldn't have learned them myself.
Yeah.
So, and I think it saves people from going down the wrong path also.
I agree. I really agree. Yeah, absolutely. And it really teaches us, perseverance. Like you start dancing, you're in it for the long haul, so it's not just, I've achieved this and now I can leave. I mean, that did happen with a few of my dancers, and I just thought it was so bizarre. They'd get to Open Championship and then that would be it. They're like, okay, I've achieved my goal. But, I mean, obviously everyone has different goals and different expectations, but I'm like, you just got started.
It's like that saying, nothing in life is worth having without hard work. And it really does teach that from a young age.
Yeah, it does. It does. That's great. So can I talk a little bit about, I was fascinated about the Romeo and Juliet show that you did. Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, so it was myself, Bobby Hodges and Natasha Petrasic got this opportunity for a tour in China. And we wanted to make it a story that everyone would know, but like something also new that's never been done before. And it was decided upon Romeo and Juliet, the Irish dance version of Romeo and Juliet, which we thought was like a really interesting idea. And I remember we were on tour at the time of Riverdance, and we were sat down during the day when we had like our days off. We were in Europe, and we sat down and we'd just be making notes of exactly how to do each scene and what scenes to cut out and what scenes to put in. And it was so exciting for us. And then we also wanted it to be not just an Irish dance show. Natasha, she trained at the Halloran School in Australia, so they've learned all different styles of dance.
Yes, they do a great job, yeah.
God, those kids are amazing. And so it was great to have that influence. So we were like, this dance about this section of the show can be a jazz routine, this section can be a tap, this section can be ballet. So it's really exciting and something completely new and something challenging. And then, so we got a cast together and we rehearsed in Birmingham, and we only had 6 days to do the whole show.
Good Lord.
No, it was crazy. We were starting at 9 a.m. and we weren't finishing until past midnight anyway, myself.
Oh my God.
For the 6 days. But even though we were tired, it was so new and exciting that you didn't really mind.
Right.
So it was really cool to do. And then we got to China, and then we did the first show, which went okay-ish. And then we just started changing it until we were really happy with it. And it took about 6 weeks to do that. But it just ended up being something that we were all so proud of. And something that I'd love to do again. It felt really great to be, we were there from its inception, and we were directing it, we were sorting out the lights, we were doing the music, we were doing the stage management, and we had the Chinese crew there, but we had to almost train them in on how to do what we wanted, and it ended up being really successful, and the Chinese audience really loved it. So it was honestly one of the best experiences of my life.
Yeah, it sounds absolutely amazing and really, up my alley. I'd love to. I've seen the clips, the little sizzle reel you have of it, but I haven't. I'd love to see the actual full production. Do you have videos of it or anything?
We did get it filmed a few nights in a row. It's just not been edited together. But hopefully eventually it's just finding the time to actually go ahead and edit it, or even pay someone to edit it, I guess, if we can't do it. But eventually there will be a video somewhere. Yeah,
I think because unless there are some plans for it to come to North America, as the show, I think Irish dancers would love to see it.
Yeah.
So pull your finger out.
We'll do it. That would be the dream, is obviously to bring it to America, but it's just money. Basically, you need financial backing and stuff like that. So,
of course, everything takes money.
I wish it didn't.
I know, but it is a great. Just from the bits that I saw of it, I got very excited watching it. So, congratulations on all of that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, and it's yours, right? Like between the three of you, you have it and own it.
Yeah, to be there. Yeah, we did our own show. We can always say that.
Yeah, and you put on all of those hats, director and lighting and all of that. So how do you plan on continuing your education in the front of house stuff or in the production side?
So I am looking at a possibility of a job with the show department on a cruise at the minute.
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a possibility. Once I'm completely finished dancing, I'll probably just revert all the way over just into choreography and like direction and lighting and sound, and I'll probably finish dancing altogether just to like have a good split.
Yeah.
But I want to continue dancing as long as my legs will hold me up. But I don't want to finish too soon.
Yeah, believe me, once you get to a certain age, it gets even more difficult. So yeah, dance while you can is my advice to anyone. Yeah, Kira and I both found that as well, that it's difficult to be a dancer in a show and direct. So yeah, there does have to be some separation.
That was the biggest struggle we found with Romeo and Juliet, is especially I remember the first day, Bobby went straight to the sound department, Natasha went straight to the wardrobe department, and I went straight to the lighting department, and we all just like exploded everywhere and like giving lots of notes, but there was no one left to dance on the stage when our role was there. So it was really hard. I think it's very hard to do both.
Yeah.
It was definitely a learning experience.
Right, but you've got your whole career ahead of you. So, I mean, Irish dance is in your blood. It's going to be, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you can create and where your career goes. I'm looking forward to that with excitement. And of course, we would love to have you out to choreograph for Irish Dance Theatre out here in America.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. So let's just talk briefly about the community of Irish dance, if we can, as a whole. Because I'm trying to be, with the podcast, I'm trying to be as inclusive as possible. But it just, my circles run in the commission scene. So I'm getting kind of the commission perspective. And I spoke to one CRN teacher, and I know a lot of other teachers and from different organizations, and I will interview as many as I can. But what do you think, where do you think the community and the Irish dance as a whole is going, especially with all of these different organizations now?
Do you mean like competitively, or?
Yeah, let's talk competitively first, and then we'll talk professionally.
Well, I guess competitively, it's only getting bigger, and there seems to just be more and more dancers every single year, which I think is a great thing. Like, I think spreading the Irish culture is great. I have only ever been involved in CLRG. The only time I'm really exposed to different sides is in the dance hall. There's obviously quite a lot of Kogel dancers in Riverdance. So that's the only time I'm exposed to that side of the Irish dance community. But it would be amazing if there was one big event with all the different...
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah.
Because everyone's basically there for the same thing, and that's because they love dance. Why is there not an event where everyone who loves dance can be welcome?
Yeah, I think it may need to come from outside of the community, or if somebody sponsors it, somebody with a lot of money, of course. And it's just a I don't know if it would be a competition or whatever. I know it gets a bit sticky in terms of commission and Kogel and stuff, and not them being closed and not an open platform. So yeah, it's
I just think it would be beneficial for everyone to learn off of each other. I think, especially, say, for in ballet, there's not really any of those rules, and everyone can learn off of everyone else, and the standard is insane. And I think there's no real reason to not do that in Irish dance.
Yeah, I agree. I'd love to just drop in and be able to take somebody's class just to keep my skills alive. Yeah.
Because everyone can learn off of everybody. So
yeah, of course.
Why not?
Of course.
Yeah.
So then in terms professionally, I mean, it's just the opportunities that are there, right?
Yeah. I think there's got to be opportunities for everybody, and I don't know if there is enough opportunities at the minute. So I think the more the better. Obviously, especially Riverdance is winding down before the 25th, but then it will come back after that, so there'll be more opportunities then. So it's just making sure there's enough work for everybody to be able to be a professional dancer, because it is quite hard to make enough money consistently to not have to get another job.
Yeah, and it's a bit piecemeal, right? At the moment, back when I was dancing, you got a job with one of the two shows at the time, and you had to pretty much a contract for however long you wanted it. And so what I find both intriguing and exhausting is that you can be in one show in 1 week and a different show in the next week. From a dancer's perspective, that's much more exciting, because you're doing different choreography and it's not the same old. I mean, I just remember being in Riverdance and people being very tired of the choreography because they had done it for a very long time, and it doesn't challenge you as a dancer. But speak to that. Because if you can't. If you have to take work wherever it's given, it can kind of spread you a bit thin, right?
Yeah, and there's a little bit of luck in it, I think. It's timing. Is there a tour when you're free? When that tour finishes, is there another company you can work for that the timing fits? Do they want you? And it is kind of a little bit of luck and a little bit of making a choice, whether it's the right choice or the wrong choice. You kind of just have to make a choice and see where it takes you. Sometimes it'll be the wrong choice, but then you have to just get over it. I do think that the more shows you do, the better. I would consider myself, like, Riverdance for me is home. Like, I've been a Riverdance for 12 years, and it's like so comforting to be home. Obviously, if you're at home for too long, you want to
spread your wings.
Yeah. I always end up coming back home. Do you know what I mean? That's where my heart is Riverdance. But I do love to explore different things as well. Otherwise, it can just get a little bit monotonous.
Yeah, but it's actually great that you can. I mean, it just wasn't an opportunity for us when I was dancing in Riverdance. That you just wouldn't. We just didn't have time to go and do anything else. Yeah. And I would have loved to. I briefly did that stint with Dancing on Dangerous Ground, and I'd love to see something like that come back up again.
I was watching Dancing on Dangerous Ground on YouTube earlier today, and I was thinking to myself, wow, this show was so before its time. If it came back now, it would do so well. Yeah,
it really. I agree with you. It was very ahead of its time. It was very much a dancer's show. Like, the dancing was amazing in it. But
yeah, I remember my dad took me to see it, and I must have only been 11 or 12. And I remember,
oh, you young whippersnapper.
Yeah, I was like, I don't like that, Dad, and my dad loved it. And then now, I would love to see it back because I think it's brilliant now.
Yeah. Well, you never know. Colin, if you're listening, I don't actually know what, where it ended up, but I know that we had a job one day and then we didn't. Didn't the next.
It happens all the time. That's the error of being an Irish dancer.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it did. I made some great friendships, and it led me. Then I did Riverdance after that. After I was Lord of the Dance first, and then I went. Did Riverdance after Dangerous Ground, and it brought me to the States, and I'm now living here, and all of this. So I'm happy with my journey. Okay, is there anything else that you would like to talk about in terms of the community and Irish dance, just stuff that you see?
Yeah, I don't know if it was just me, but Irish dance has kind of affected every single part of my life, and I feel like it affects every other person who's involved. Like, say, for instance, my friends are all Irish dance friends. I moved country to America. I got my green card because of Irish dance, to teach Irish dancing. Like, everything, I feel like dancing is maybe underappreciated when you're young, of how amazing it is and how transformative of your life is. Like, it really does, like, infect you in a really good way, and it just
I love that.
It does, and I just really hope everyone appreciates that, of how it's so insane. Like everybody just loves it. Who was involved in it, everybody loves it, and I think it's great.
So why do you think that is then? Because I know for me it is I can't imagine a time in my life when I'm not involved in Irish dance or dancing in some way, or I still dance around the kitchen and that kind of thing. And there's a real sense of joy when we dance and when we create and that kind of thing. But I mean, I wonder what I know that's for me, and I can't speak for anybody else, but I don't know. What is it about Irish dance that's so amazing?
Do you know what? I would love to know the answer to that. The only thing is magic. It's honestly just magic. Like
magic. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. I love it.
Yeah. I'm a big Harry Potter fan, and I love like escaping into the books, into a different world. And I kind of relate that to Irish dance, as when you're dancing, you're just kind of escaping into this different world, and you can make it what you want.
Actually, that's a really good point. I mean, it is a completely different world. And I know when I was dancing, it was escapism, definitely. I'm a huge science fiction fan. And yes, it is, because you can do your thing. And it's a whole new world. And I like that. It's a good analogy.
I remember being put in competition as well, and coming off the stage and saying to my teacher, I have no memory of what I've just done.
Right.
Was it good or not? Like, I don't even remember seeing anything. I went blind. So you must go into like this inner spirituality or something.
There's a good point though, because I remember that like my teacher had said to me, look over the audience, and just out into the distance, and you just dance, and you just dance for yourself and love it. And then the bell, well, back in my day, the bell would ring and you'd have to stop.
And that's where I think, like, when I was talking about performance, that's where true performance lies. Is I always say in class, like, you can't just dance to the music. You have to, like, dance in the music. You have to, like, it sounds really a little bit arty-farty, but I say you have to kind of breathe in the music and let it overtake you, and, like, just let the music overtake you, and you dance as hard as you can. And then you finish and you're like, wow, that was insane. Yeah,
no, that's lovely. Beautiful words, Andy, beautiful words. Okay, let's do our rapid fire section. Okay. Unless is there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
I think we covered everything.
Okay, so this is Andy in a nutshell. Okay. What is your favourite food?
Pub food, British pub food.
Chips. I need some chips. That was one thing I really missed when I first came to the States, was chip shop chips. Anyway, salt and vinegar. I know the answer to this one, but Riverdance or Lord of the Dance?
Riverdance.
Riverdance. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
To always push yourself outside of your comfort zone. I feel like it's really easy just to stay where you are, because it's easy to stay there, but it won't get you any further in where you want to be. And even to this day, I struggle with that. Like, you have to push yourself until you're uncomfortable to grow. There's a quote. What was the quote? Your growth begins at the end of your comfort zone, or something like that.
Yeah, I know the one you mean. Yeah. No, it's very true. It's very true. We don't learn. We don't. Yeah, absolutely. So,
I'm really trying to do that in my life at the minute. That's my 2018 resolution.
I just listened to actually the Year of Yes, Shonda Rhimes.
Right.
Absolutely brilliant. But it's about that. She had a whole year of stepping outside of her comfort zone. Yeah, it's.
And I check that out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, talking of that, is there a book that has changed your life?
I'm going to sound like a 4-year-old boy, but Harry Potter.
Oh,
really did. Harry Potter, just the best thing ever. It's changed my life. I love it.
Harry. No, it is. I mean, it's clearly magical, but it's, and it transformed J.K. Rowling's life as well, and the lives of many people. It is a great set of stories, definitely.
I'm going to regret saying that now in about 20 minutes.
No, you're not. Everyone loves Harry Potter. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No, that's weird.
What's wrong with you? Right, so what would you say has been your success as a dancer, and what have been your challenges?
Ooh, okay. Challenges was finding out what sort of dancer I wanted to be, and that kind of relates to the sort of person I wanted to be as well, because like they're kind of interrelated with me. And it really honestly took me till I was like 24-ish to like even figure out who I was, and then my dancing improved because of that. So I found that a struggle, and it was only through working with all these different people that I found out who I was and the sort of dancer that I was. Success, I've been so lucky. I am like such an advocate of Heartbeat of Home, and I was so lucky to be the dance captain and lead dancer of that show. And I just think it's such an amazing show, and I can't wait for it to go back out again.
I agree. Just the bits that I've seen of it, I haven't seen the full show, and I'd love to. But the bits that I've seen, I think it's a great idea. So good luck with all of that. How long's the tour for?
I think it's till March time, so a good 5 months.
Yeah, like good, that. Nice.
Yeah.
So you'll be away for Christmas?
Yes.
Oh.
But I'm always in China for Christmas, it seems, every single year, so okay.
Never mind. Okay, so final question. What is the advice that you would give? So this is the wise words of Andy to aspiring Irish dancers, be it competitive or professional.
It would be take each opportunity. I always think if you can do a gig in a pub, do a gig in the pub. If you want to become a professional Irish dancer, if you can work with a certain person, work with a certain person. If your dance teacher offers you this extra class or an extra sort of technique or bring someone in, go for it. I feel like the more you do and the more you're exposed to different styles and to different teachers and to different dancers that are in class with you, just the better performer and dancer you're going to become. So just take each opportunity and roll with it.
Oh, that's beautiful words. I would wholeheartedly agree. Absolutely fantastic. Well, Andy, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Irish Dance Podcast. If you haven't already, please go to iTunes or your favourite podcast app and subscribe to our podcast. That would be great. And if you are on iTunes, if you wouldn't mind please leaving a review, that would be awesome. Thank you very much. Please visit our website at theirishdancepodcast.com. There's also a survey there where you can fill in what you think about the show so far. So look forward to your feedback and have a great day. Bye-bye.